In this video, we will first show you how to replace the steering system's power steering fluid. This operation may be required as part of routine maintenance or before replacing your steering rack and pinion. To avoid contaminating the new part with the old fluid, we will then show you how to reboot your steering system and expel air from the circuit. For example, after replacing your steering rack and pinion, your steering pump or steering lines. In both cases, you need to lift your vehicle and place it on jack stands, so as to be able to use the steering without damaging it when the circuit is empty. Turn your engine off. Set the parking brake. Pull on the hood release handle and open the hood. Lift the front of your vehicle. We strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Honda Accord safely before carrying out this step. Place the vehicle on the jack stands. You can see the power steering fluid reservoir to the left of the engine compartment. Open the filler plug. Then, using a pump or syringe, remove all the used fluid from the reservoir. You can see hoses connected to the power steering fluid reservoir, a hose that feeds the power steering pump, and the return line. Cut out the bottom of a plastic bottle, then place it under the steering fluid reservoir where it connects with the return line. Using pliers, remove the metal clip from the return line. Then remove the return line from the reservoir. Connect a plastic tube to the return line to enlarge the circuit. Then put the clip back in place to secure the assembly. Dip the plastic tube into a bottle to collect used fluid.
Hey, it's Alex from CarParts.com. If you enjoyed this video and want to support us, like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, back to work.
To ensure that the reservoir can be filled without the fluid escaping between the point where the reservoir connects with the return line, install a blanking plug. Alternatively, connect another hose, the end of which will be higher than the top of the power steering fluid reservoir. Take a funnel and fill the reservoir to the top. Switch on the ignition without starting the engine. Then, turn the steering wheel as far as it will go, first on one side, then on the other. Repeat the operation several times. Gradually, the rack and pinion cylinders expel the fluid via the return line into the bottle and suck in the new fluid. It is important to add liquid to the reservoir regularly to prevent air from entering the system. In the event of a faulty steering rack and pinion, or to replace the fluid in the steering pump, this operation may not be sufficient. You will need to remove the fuel pump fuse from the fuse box. To do this, remove the plastic cover above the hood release handle. Then, remove the fuse using needle nose pliers. This will enable you to run the engine and the power steering pump using the starter without the engine actually starting and reaching an excessive rotation speed. The steering pump should not run without fluid. If the engine starts completely, you won't be able to compensate for the pump's suction, and air will enter the system, as you can see in these pictures.
You can purchase the parts we used here by visiting our website at CarParts.com.
By removing the fuse from the fuel pump, the power steering pump will have a slow rotation speed, allowing you to fill the reservoir as the fluid is drawn in. Once new fluid starts flowing into the bottle, you can consider your bleeding to be complete. When you replace your rack and pinion or any other steering system component with a new one, you need to reboot the air-filled circuit. To do this, you can reproduce the same setup for the hoses and fill the reservoir to the top. Start by turning the steering wheel back and forth as far as it will go to draw air from the reservoir and inject it back into the circuit. Once this operation has been performed a few times, you can repeat the fuse-free starting technique to circulate the fluid using the power steering pump while turning the wheels with the steering wheel. When the new fluid flows continuously into the bottle, you can consider the steering system reboot to be complete. Reconnect the return line. remove the bottle. You can now rest your vehicle on the ground. Then fill the reservoir with new fluid to the maximum level. Put the fuse back in place. Replace the plastic cover. Operation complete.